Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to do my June 2019 manga haul video. I'm just going to get right into it because I got a ton of stuff to show. So I'm going to start off with my continuations of things. I got volume 3 of Ao Haru Ride. Oh, that's a beautiful back cover there. Haven't read this volume yet because I love this series and I want to read all of it at once, and unfortunately I don't have the next few volumes, so I don't want to finish this one and then be craving more. But highly recommend Ao Haru Ride if you are a shoujo lover and you haven't checked it out yet. Next, volume 2 of Candy Color Paradox. As you can see, still in the plastic wrap. Haven't read this volume yet, but I'm looking forward to it. This is a really good, just based on volume 1, which I believe I did a first impressions video of, so definitely go check that out if you like yaoi or you're interested in this at all, because I have really nothing but good things to say about this series, so definitely go check out my first impressions video. Can't wait to read this volume. Next, another yaoi. I unwrapped it, but I didn't read it yet. I haven't even read volume 2. I've still only read volume 1. This is Escape Journey. This one is extremely thin, like thinner than a regular volume. The other two were extremely thick. So I don't know why it was broken up that way. I think it's because they're technically like different points in time, if I remember, or if I am understanding correctly, as I haven't read this yet. So I guess this part of the story is just really short, and I believe this is the final volume. So I'm looking forward to finishing it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Next up, Tokyo Tarareba Girls Volume 7. I have read this volume. I loved it. Cannot wait for the next one. There's 9 volumes in total, so we got 2 more, which I already have both of those pre-ordered. I love this series. I have still only read a couple volumes of Princess Jellyfish at this point, but this series, Tokyo Tarareba Girls, grabbed me immediately with the humor, with the real. It's so like raw and real. It doesn't shy away from being really bleak and just like laying it all out on the table that these women in their 30s are, that the clock is ticking and they know it, and they're trying so desperately to find a partner, love, I guess you could say, but at this point I think they're just looking for anyone at all. And it just feels so real, and even the ridiculous over-the-top humor that Akiko Higashimura likes to use still doesn't take away from the kind of seriousness of this topic, of these of women who are not married and feel like they should be, feel like they missed their prime. And yeah, it's just wonderful. Really enjoying it. This volume is thinner than a normal volume, which was disappointing when it showed up, and I felt it immediately. You can feel when the spine is thinner, or when the volume is thinner, but anyway, really enjoyed the volume regardless. Next up, another one I waited a long time for. This is volume 9 of Happiness. As far as I know, volume 10 is the final volume. So series is starting to come to a close, I guess. Shuzo Oshimi does not have a lot of dialogue. Most of his art, or most of his manga, is very art focused and expressive. And so the volumes, you read them very quickly, and it feels like nothing really happened, because it's such a short period of time. In terms of the volume, it doesn't cover very much because it goes by so quickly. Doesn't mean it's not amazing, doesn't mean it doesn't continue the story, but Shuzo Oshimi's works, I find personally, are best read in a binge kind of style, because his stories are not really well done when you try and read them as they come out. I'm impatient and I want to know what happens next, so I do read them as they come out. However, I find his stories work better when you read them all at once, and it doesn't take very long because, again, there's not a lot of dialogue at all. But yeah, really enjoyed this volume. Looking forward to seeing how this series ends. I believe the final volume comes out end of this year. So unfortunately, a lot of time to wait still, but really amazing series. Really enjoying it still. Next up, we got Volume 9 of Silver Spoon. I think this is my favorite cover. I really, really love this cover. Yeah, I haven't read this one yet, I don't think. I can't remember what volume of Silver Spoon I'm on, but I'm pretty sure I haven't read this one yet. It just continues to be good. Wherever I am in the series at this point, it isn't slowing down, so I'm sure I'm going to enjoy this volume when I do eventually get around to reading it. Next up, so Viz was having a sale on Chapters. I'm in Canada, so I buy my manga from Chapters. Viz was having a sale, and it was the first 3 volumes of pretty much most of their series. Was like 40% off, and then I applied a 10% off coupon on top of that. So I got these volumes for really good prices, and I took the opportunity to buy volumes or start series that I've been wanting to start for a long time and just haven't gone around to it. The price, I couldn't pass it up, and so I bought the first 3 volumes of a ton of series that I've been interested in for a while. First of which is Cross Game by Mitsuru Adachi. This is a baseball manga. I believe it's got some romance. It's kind of slice of life. This first volume is a 3-in-1 omnibus. I haven't started reading this yet, but I am so stoked too. I love the artwork. This one has intrigued me for a while. I don't read a lot of sports manga, but when I do enjoy it. I just am a bit more picky, and I have a feeling I'm really, really going to enjoy Cross Game. So I got Volume 1, Volume 2. The rest of the volumes are 2-in-1s. The first one is a 3-in-1. But all reasonably priced. And this is Volume 3 here. So I obviously have to get the rest of it still. However, 2, 4, 6, 7 volumes is a pretty good start, especially for the price that I got this at. So I got 7 volumes of content to read, and I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. Next up, another series I've wanted for a very long time. That is Banana Fish. So I'm looking forward to starting this one and seeing if it is actually something that I'm really interested in continuing collecting. But again, for the price, I was really, not bothered about picking it up. So I got the first 3 volumes, again, of Banana Fish. And this is I believe it's got boys' love in it, but it's more, from what I can tell, it's more like shonen-y, or as close to shonen. It is listed as a shoujo, but as far as I can tell, there's a lot of action, there's a lot of fighting. I think it's gangs or something is involved in the story, but I'm not entirely sure. All I know is it's something I've been intrigued by for a while. I love the older art style, and really stoked to start reading that one. Next up, a series that I've had my eye on for a while, but just never got around to picking it up, and I think it's 6 volumes or something. It's a pretty short series, and it's Behind the Scenes. This is by Bisco Hattori. This is the same author as, or mangaka of, Ouran High School Host Club, which is the only other thing by her that I've read. I know she's got a few other series out, but none of them have intrigued me until Behind the Scenes. This is about a college student who's not very involved in really anything, and somehow gets roped into being a stage manager or whatever, behind the scenes of the drama club, I guess, is the point of that. And I love the covers. I like the idea of a slice of life college sort of thing, and I miss Bisco Hattori's humor and characters, so I'm really interested to see what I think of this series. And the covers are beautiful. The art looks really, really good. Like I said, this is the first, at least English translated, Bisco Hattori series besides Ouran that I've actually been interested in reading, so I'm really looking forward to it. So continuing with the Viz sale, I got the first 3 volumes of Ron in the Grey World. I know this one is, has a bit of controversy around it because it's about this young girl who turns herself into this. She wants to be an adult, and she has a spell that she can turn herself into a young adult, I guess. But I mean, I've heard other people's opinions on it. I feel like I'm gonna really enjoy this series. The art, the covers are just absolutely gorgeous, and I really, really, really can't wait to dive into this one because I'm just. And I did actually read. I think Viz had a free preview or something up on the. I read a preview of this somewhere on a. I guess it must have been on Viz's site, website, but I did read a preview of the first chapter, and I did enjoy what I read, and that was when it was originally announced, and I just knew that eventually I'd get around to buying it. So, next, first 3 omnibus volumes, the perfect editions of 20th Century Boys by Naoki Urasawa. Again, as soon as these perfect editions were announced, like well over a year before they were starting releasing, and 20th Century Boys has been something I've been interested in for a long time, but as soon as I found out they were getting the perfect editions, I didn't bother picking up the singles because I wanted them to match my Monster perfect editions. So these are 2-in-1s, and again, the first 3 volumes, so that's 6 volumes of content. These are gorgeous with the embossed title. The spines I'm not crazy about, unfortunately, but maybe once all of them are together it'll look better, but I'm not crazy about the spines. I think the monster spines, I mean, even those ones I'm not super crazy about, to be honest, now that I'm looking at them on my shelf, but yeah, anyway, I'm excited to read this. I haven't started it yet, but hopefully will at some point soon. The books are piling up, and I don't know where to put them. Okay. Next, got the first 3 volumes of omnibus volumes of Neon Genesis Evangelion. Have not read this. I know, I haven't read it yet, and I should have read it a long time ago, but I haven't. Took the opportunity to buy the first 3. I'm really interested. I always have been. I just never got around to picking it up. I've been really in the mood for some sci-fi-esque situations lately, so I was super stoked that this was part of the sale, and now I have 9 volumes of content to read because these are 3-in-1s. I think I have a couple more of these omnibuses to pick up. There's tons of color pages. There's tons of it's just really nice quality books. And again, I got them for such a good price, so I'm super stoked. Next, I finally caved, and I'm buying the Viz Big editions of Inuyasha. These are, again, 3-in-1s put out by Viz. I do have some of the singles, however, I'm missing, and by some I mean, like, I think I have, like, 10 in total, but I'm missing a lot of volumes, obviously, and I just want to read Inuyasha. I haven't read it in a really long time, and I've watched the anime so many times. I don't own the anime, but I've seen it so many times because it was one of the first things I watched when I was a child, one of the first anime I ever watched, and I'm really interested in reading the manga and getting back into the story, and I chose to buy the manga instead of buying the entire anime because I just don't sit down and watch anime like I used to. I find that I much rather just read manga, so I figured I'd buy the manga of Inuyasha and consume the story that way. So again, 9 volumes worth of content for a very, very good price. So yeah, I'll probably still keep my single editions because I really do like them. And like I said, I don't have very many of them. It's just I wasn't going to wait around to try and find all the out-of-print volumes when I could just buy the Viz Bigs and read it sooner rather than later. And the final thing I picked up from that Viz sale was Abara by Tsutomu Nihei. This is like brand new. It just came out, I think, a few weeks prior to me buying this. And it's only a single volume, so it was part of the sale, even though it's only a single volume. And so I was super stoked because this is a really, really nice hardcover volume. And I do like Tsutomu Nihei. I've read only Knights of Sidonia, actually, but I love his art. I love the stark kind of blacks that he uses. This one actually has, now that I'm looking at it, it really doesn't, but I thought this one had more dialogue than some of the other series that I've seen by him. But, oh, I guess in the later half it looks like it does. But anyway, haven't read it yet. Super stoked too. I know that the master editions of Knights of Sidonia are coming out, and I've been tempted to buy them because I actually really enjoyed it. I read Knights of Sidonia from the library, and I wouldn't mind owning it. So if I find them for a decent price, I may pick up those master editions of Knights of Sidonia as well. But for now, glad to have a Bara, so I at least have something by Tsutomu Nihei in my collection. Next up, I went to the 2 used bookstores in my town, and I found a ton of manga, which was a good thing because I filled in some gaps and completed some things, but also I was not intending to spend that much money. But supporting local business, getting manga for a decent price, and filling in gaps in the collection, not the end of the world. So, I managed to pick up 2 more volumes of Kindaiichi Case Files. I got, this one's listed as volume 8, No News is Good News, which I just started reading today, actually really enjoying. The Opera House Murders, which I believe is technically the first volume. Now, the first few volumes don't actually have a volume number because these are all, except for I think one that crosses over into 2 volumes, all of these are self-contained mystery detective stories, all following the same high school detective. However, you can read these self-contained, so I figured I'd pick up these 2, and I actually got this one for free because it is a bit damaged. If you can see on the back there, it's a bit chewed up. So when I brought it, it had a $2 sticker on it, and I went, well, I want to read this. It's a really thick volume for $2. I don't care about the little bit of a tear that's in it. And I brought it up to the counter with a bunch of other books that I'm about to show you, and the guy the cashier just said, oh, that one's not really in good condition. I'll give you that for free. So that was really nice of him, and appreciated that. I was willing to pay the $2, but anyway. So super happy to have more of the Kindaiichi Case Files. And next, I completed a series that I wasn't in a rush to complete, but I'm happy to have it, I guess. This is a manhwa, actually, so Korean, put out by Tokyo Pop as well. This is Demon Diary, which I bought volume 2 originally from Goodwill for $1 because I liked the cover, and then I started finding some more of the volumes at used bookstores and just kept buying it even though I wasn't super duper interested in it. But anyway, now I have all of it. There's 7 in total. So this is volume 4, 5, and 6. So, really enjoying that. But I haven't read Demon Diary in its entirety yet. I think I've only read the first 3 volumes, so I don't really know what it's about because it's kind of bizarre and weird. But once I finish reading it, I will probably make a video about it. Next up, I found another volume of Cardcaptor Sakura. This one's Master of the Clow or Clo, I don't know how to pronounce it. Volume 1, so technically this is volume 7, I believe. Yeah, I'm just picking these up as I find them. I've got a few now. I think I'm halfway there because there's 12 in total. Next, so happy to find the next sequential volumes of Me and My Brothers, because I have 1 through 4, and I found 5, 6, and 7. I recently read the first 4 for a readathon. This is a really cute slice of life series about these 4 stepbrothers who move in with their stepsister who didn't know that they existed because her grandmother passed away and asked them to take care of her, basically. And it's just a story about siblings hanging out and protecting their little little stepsister, half-sister, or whatever it is that their relation to her is. I really enjoy it. I haven't read these 3 yet because I literally just picked them up a couple days ago. But yeah, really stoked to find more of it. It's 11 volumes in total, so we're getting there. Almost there. 7 out of 11. Not terribly bad. And then next, so happy to find volumes 2 through 4 of Livingstone. This is the same artist as Dead Man Wonderland, which I really enjoy. Unfortunately, no volume 1, but I don't think that's terribly bad. I can just buy volume 1 at another time. But I've always wanted to read this series. It's only 4 volumes long. I believe it's about these two individuals. I don't know if they're human or not, but they can something about souls and seeing into people's souls or eating their souls or something. I don't really know, honestly. All I know is I'm interested. It's very violent. It's very much in the style of Jinsei Kataoka. So, yeah, and I've never read anything by Tomohiro Maekawa as far as I know. So I think this one will be interesting. Hopefully, I'll get volume 1 at some point soon so I can actually read it. And next, I went to my local comic book store, which I had never been to before because I had been there actually at it when they had their first location like 5 years ago or something like that, and they didn't have any manga at all. And so I wasn't interested in comics, so I didn't bother going back. I happened to walk by it and went, you know what, I'll go in and check it out. They had some old manga, but only in the like comic edition style. So I bought issue number 1 of Gray. This is a series that I've been really, really interested in for a very long time, but just haven't been able to find the very out of print. I think there's 2 volumes in total. So I bought issue number 1, which is actually quite thick for a like comic issue kind of thing like this. So haven't read this yet, but it's a nice starter so that I know if it's something I'm super duper interested in, then I can go and hunt down the 2 volumes, hopefully one day own them. But I figured it was nice to have this. And then next, for $1 each, I got Area 88. And this series is, I believe, one of the first 3 series to come to North America, manga-wise. So I'm super stoked, and they were $1 each. They had more of them, but they weren't sequential, so they had this pack of the first 10 issues for $10, basically. So I bought them. I haven't read them yet. I'm super excited to. I believe Manga Hoarder, Laura has these as well, if I remember correctly. But I've been super intrigued by it, so I figured I'd pick it up. Hello everyone, change of scenery, and that was all the manga I had to show you, so thank you for watching. As always, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you read any of the series I showed or want to hear more about them, again, just let me know. Thanks for watching. See ya.